Welcome back to Pop Pixel. In today's video, I'll be breaking down a semi-recent product videography project we completed in the studio. This was a passion project using Ava Estelle hair care line. So let's get right into it. In order to capture this first scene, I set up a hero shot using a glass shelf and placing the product on it. To add more character to the background, I also used a kitchen grill thing, which you can see in the clip. I pointed a key light, which was my Godox AD600 Pro lighting through the kitchen grill, which created these really cool lining effect on the background. In order to also add more character to the scene and emphasize the benefits of the product, I also incorporated water into the shot, as you can see in the scene, which just made it feel more luxurious and more interesting to the eye. This was a 3-light setup. I had one light shooting from the left from about a 45-degree angle, quite high and pointing down. And I also had a reflector on that lighting as well. And for the background, because it was looking a little bit too dark for me, I added in a small LED light to the background, and that just lit up the left side of the frame. To the right hand side of the frame, I also had another lighting which was double diffused. That was about 4 feet away from the product and from the whole scene, and I pointed that lighting directing at the front of the product just to illuminate the product a bit more. Now let's hop into the next scene. If I was going to say that I did not struggle to capture this shot, then I would definitely be lying, because it was quite tedious to capture this shot, and it definitely did stretch my skills. To capture this shot, I lit the product from behind. This enabled the liquid to stand out so vividly, as you can see in the clip, and this also helped me to capture those tiny little bubbles that were created when I pressed down on the pipette. I made sure to double diffuse the lighting that was coming from behind, because I didn't want the lighting to be too harsh and overpowering in the frame. In order to capture this shot, I used a glass jug. I think next time I will try to put a pencil or a pen or small object into the jug, just to help my camera focus a bit more, because it was struggling to focus on the water, of course, because everything is transparent. So that was one of the difficulties which I found when capturing this frame. However, we were able to get there in the end. I think one thing I did was reducing my lighting, which just made the jug stand out a bit more. Again, as mentioned, I lit this from behind in order to capture that crisp shot. And to get these really cool liquid droplet effect, I actually poured oil into the water, which created those really nice bubbles in the water, which rose to the top. Now onto the next scene. To capture this shot, I used the pipette from the product itself, and I just gently squeezed the pipette in front of my lens. I was using a 50mm lens, so this was more on the side of a macro shot. If I had a 100mm lens, I would definitely use that to capture this and for it to be even more luminous, but that's what I did in order to capture this pipette shot. It was quite simple, quite straightforward. It did take me a couple of times just to get the positioning and the droplets correct, but once I did, it was a no-brainer. Again, the lighting setup was the same as the previous one. I lit it from behind, which really helped for the liquid and the droplets to stand out. I really did like that lighting setup, which I have used a few times throughout this process. Straight after that scene, we're met with this scene with the product and the oil droplet falling into the bottle, the glass bottle. This was actually 2 different shots which I just brought together within post-production, and aligned them well, so it looked like the droplet that I did previously fell into the jug, but it was 2 completely different shots. But I just brought that together in post-production. And last but not least, the final scene. This was similar to a previous scene, however, instead of the water played with the main key light. So I really wanted to emphasize, okay, like this is the end of the hair care routine, this is the end of the process. So to do that, I just moved my key light, which was on my left hand side of my scene, and I moved it away from the product so that the scene would go completely dark and fade out. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this mini breakdown video. If you did, please make sure you comment, subscribe and like. And if you want me to do more videos like this where I break down the process of each scene, or maybe even take you behind the scenes and show you how I do it in real time, then let me know down below as well. But apart from that, guys, I will see you guys next time. Bye.